Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. And if you're new to the New World Podcast, I cover 6 shows a week, sometimes 7, 8, 10, 20. It doesn't matter. I will be covering professional wrestling as it goes on and on and on. I cover Raw, I cover NXT, I cover Dynamite, I cover SmackDown, I cover Rampage. I'm going to be starting to do Q&As here. So if you're new to the program, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. I'm very passionate about pro wrestling. I was a pro wrestler for 5 years. I held the championship before for a company here called Kick Axe Wrestling in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I won it against El Zitro and a no DQ match, no holds barred, whatever you want to call it, and I got my ass whooped, but I remember carrying that championship with pride. And the first time I ever took a bump, it was a godly experience, and I miss it, and I really want to get back in the ring one day. But as we do that, as we go on and go forward, I just love covering wrestling. I just love watching wrestling, and my passion for this business has always been there. And since I've been doing the New World Podcast, it's been therapeutic very, very much, especially covering these shows. And I gotta say, with this show right here for NXT, May 2nd, 2023, Booker T, Vic Joseph on commentary. They started off strong with the NXT North American Championship. Wesley with Tyler Bate versus Drew Gulash, as I like to call him, with Charlie Dempsey, and this was a fun match. I gotta say, I've been very critique in a very hard way with NXT lately, because I miss the black and gold brand with all the crazy stars we used to have. When you had Samoa Joe, you had the Undisputed Era, you had Kevin Owens, you had Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura. It was just a different era, and they were rebooted to a 2.0. And now we're here with this brand. I wouldn't say it's black and gold, but it's still, and they still got that crowd that I just really don't like, especially with the starting of the show. Like, the crowd got better towards the end, but I don't know. Studio crowds are just like that, especially in Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So, but this match right here, Wesley for the win. I really did enjoy this match. So I want to see where else they go with Wesley. I would love to see Wesley and Tyler Bate, because Tyler Bate was looking at that championship when Wesley was holding it up and stuff like that. So I was just like, So are we going to get Tyler Bate and Wesley in the future? And Drew and them were pissed that they lost. Grayson Waller's package from last week, moving up to the main roster. Congratulations. Fire and Dawn promo, because they have the big tag team match tonight. Congratulations to them. I believe they're going up to SmackDown, if I remember right. Battlegrounds May 28th, and we're going to crown some new champions here, especially the women's champion. Trick Williams comes out, and he's talking about Carmelo and Trick Mello, gang and everything like that. And Braun Breaker comes out, and he basically accepts the challenge for Carmelo Hayes at Battleground. But Trick and Braun have some unfinished business, because he goes, you put your hands on my boy, you speared me out of nowhere in a cheap shot, so me and you need to handle this like men in this ring. So I'm guessing next week him and Braun are gonna face each other. We had JD McDonough backstage interview. Noam Dar interrupts. JD McDonough's moving up to Raw as well, and that's awesome, man. And he had a hell of a match tonight, but we'll get to that in a bit. Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane, and Gigi's brothers in the crowd. This story has been developing slowly, and I don't think it's over, because JC got the win. She got busted open, but she attacks Gigi afterwards, is screaming at Gigi's brother like, "I'm the star, not your sister," and JC Jane looking so badass. And I gotta say, this is the show that I was just invested with everything tonight. I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And every match, there was just another form of just like awesomeness to everything, man. And I gotta say, this Gigi and JC thing, man, with JC being busted open like that, this is gonna grow into something that's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna go into a no holds barred type of situation match at Battleground with these two and trying to kill each other. So more on that. Axiom Axiom versus Scripps. Axiom for the win, and this match was just fun. When Axiom for the win rips off Scripps' mask and everything, and they didn't really show his face, but we all know it's Reggie, little Reginald. But no, this was a fun fucking match right here, man. I had such a blast just because there's just some great high spots and everything like that, and I gotta say, it doesn't beat the next match, but it was a fun match. And we had Brooks and Josh at the bar with Fallon. So moving on from the storyline that I just didn't care about, we're gonna see what they do, the tag team titles, what's gonna happen, and things are gonna get shaken up a bit because the draft did take some stars up to the main roster. And I will say right here, right now, Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough, and he's going to Raw, and talk about going to Raw on a big note. I gave this match was, oh my god, incredible. I had so many spots where I was, and 1, 2, out of my seat. I was like, JD McDonough going up to Raw is a huge deal. Dragon Lee, I can't wait to see Dragon Lee move up the main roster, but he has some unfinished business with Noam Dar, because Noam Dar comes out with that Heritage Cup. And afterwards, Dragon Lee attacked Noam Dar. I gotta say, this is the match of the night. I have to say, these two and JD going out on a high note and getting that crowd pumped. And that's what I mean. Like later on, this crowd finally got into this match. I mean, the show felt like I was like, okay, finally the crowd is interacting. Because I'll tell you, the reason why I went over so fast, because I really don't care for Braun Breaker facing Carmelo Hayes, but we still have this story that we need to finish. We're going to finish it at Battleground, but they were not giving it to either Trick or Braun. That crowd was just not giving it to them. They were booing Braun, and there was really no reaction for Trick, and just, everything just kind of fell off until, like I said, later on in the night when I feel like when Axiom and Gigi Dolan and JCJ, like that's when the crowd finally started getting into it. We got Chance, Fight Forever, this is awesome, and Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough was awesome. I'm going to rewatch this match because it was such a good time, and I like that Dragon Lee just attacks Noam Dar, and he comes out, and I love JD and Noam Dar's backstage thing before this match. He's like, hey, I need you to take out Dragon Lee, rip some ligaments, tear him apart. And then JD's like, look, get away from me, you snake. You never gave me the chance to challenge for that Heritage Cup, man. But so we're building the feud with Noam Dar, Dragon Lee. I can't wait to see who JD's gonna face first and what kind of storytelling we're gonna get in the main roster on Raw, and that's all happening next week. It's just right around the corner. Backlash is this Saturday, so much going on. Katana and Kate in the backstage. They're getting ready. This is a big one. They're going to, I believe they're going to Raw. Yeah, Fire and Dawn's going to SmackDown, and it's a big tag team match tonight. Schism's backstage, and it's just setting up for Joe Coffey versus Joe Gacy. And if Joe Gacy wins, the Dyad gets their title shot against the Gallus. Against Gallus for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Creed brothers watching on. Joe Gacy for the win with a little bit of assistance. So Schism, hands held high, and the Dyad is going to take on Gallus next week for those championships. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is the first time too. Like everything in this show that was building up, I was like, ooh. And even I am a little excited to see how Braun and Trick does. And Trick got a little love tonight from Apollo and stuff like that. And that was awesome. That I felt like that was a good rub, and Apollo's moving up to Raw as well. So hopefully this time around that he gets a little bit more than just what he got before, And that's why when he went to NXT, they made fun of him because he lost his accent, blah blah blah. But hopefully this time around we do get we do something better with Apollo, because I think Apollo Crews is just is a great athlete. He has the look. I still feel like he needs to work on his mic skills a little bit, but don't put him back into that gimmick he had before he came down to NXT. Just let him be him, and I think he'll be okay. But Joe Gacy over Joe Coffey for the win, and next week NXT Tag Team Championships are on the line. Tatum Paxley versus the debuting Danny Palmer, man. They had a really nice thing backstage with her, getting ready, and they're pumping her up. But Danny Palmer, gymnast before, now in making her in-ring debut here at NXT. And I will say this, I was looking at Tatum Paxley as well, because Tatum Paxley was bringing it to Danny, man. She was like, you want these hands? You're going to get these hands. But Danny's performance was really fucking good. I was just like, okay, all right, I see you, Danny. I can't wait to see more of you. You know, I can't wait to see what we do. And I want to see more of Tatum Paxley, because I feel like Tatum Paxley, both these two shine in this match. We had the Chase U Classing backstage, and Chase canceled class, but Duke took over, and he's like, Duke University. Still not all with this whole university thing, you know. I think it's just because I came into NXT, like this has been here for a while, you know. I honestly feel it's played out. I've heard of it. Chase U, Duke, I feel like is a great talent that should be showcased a little bit more, maybe taken out of this whole thing, but maybe there's going to be some internal damage with him taking over, and Chase is going to go after Duke, so we shall see. But here we go. And Von Wagner was backstage with Mr. Stone looking at some pictures or something, but Von Wagner was moving up to the main roster as well. But here we go. NXT Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Alba Fire, Isla Dawn versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Oh, this was great. This was awesome, man. And I had a good time with this tag team match. But Alba, Fire, and Dawn, they got the win. They're taking those championships. But I was like, how long will they have those titles on SmackDown before they have to relinquish them? Because as we saw here, Indy Hartwell had to relinquish her title, maybe due to her injury. But still, I was like, how long? You know, can they take those NXT championships too up there? You know, put them online against anybody, because they are NXT championships. We already have, main roster women's tag team championships. So I'm a little confused by this, but I'm just wondering how long will it take for them to hold those titles up there, then kind of just they fade away from their waist, and then we get new tag team champions in the future on NXT. But I gotta say, both teams, good luck in going into the main roster for SmackDown and Raw. I feel like these teams are going to bring, especially a Katana and Kaden. No, fuck that. Fire and Dawn. These two teams are real tag teams, not just some teams that they're just put together. They got some chemistry. Katana and Kaden's been a tag team for a while. Fire and Dawn, they click, and I just heard a great interview with them on Busted Open Radio, and they just have this great chemistry of finishing each other's sentences. So I'm excited just because I feel like the main roster's women's tag team division needs a shakeup and needs more talented tag teams to be on that roster. So here we go, baby. I can't wait to see what these two teams and who they interact with first, and where they go. So Dijak did a promo. He's faced Dragunov next week. I'm very excited about that, because Dijak attacked Dragunov and put this what was it called? Garage doors, sliding it on him into his midsection, and Dragunov was like so so Dijak versus Dragunov next week. I'm all for it. Indy Hartwell. This was sad. This was sad, but in a good way, because she said a quote that I really like. Indy Hartwell relinquishes the NXT Women's Championship. There's going to be a tournament now. She's going to Raw. She had an ankle injury last week. Her match was last week. I was a little critical about, just because you could tell she got hurt, and the match kind of suffered from that, because I wanted Indy to go out on a good note. And with her going to Raw, I'm just like, okay, all right, let's see what's in store for Indy on the main roster. So many possibilities, so many lanes to choose from, and who's gonna be the first opponent for Indy? She said this great quote here. Oh, yeah, and the tournament is going to build up all the way to Battleground, and that's when we'll get a new NXT Women's Champion. This quote right here, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." And I was like, that really hit the heartstrings for me, and with Indy, and, she talked about all the stuff she did here, 1,000 some odd days in the PC Center, and it was just really heartfelt, and it brought a little tear to my eye, because Indy's basically growing up and moving up, and she's been on this road and trying so hard to be the NXT Women's Champion, finally getting that opportunity at Stand and Deliver to get that championship, now moving on, and not and to do it in big fashion and do it in this big way, Dexter comes out and carries her out. And I remember watching the wedding, and that wedding was probably one of the best WWE weddings ever, non-interrupted. It was funny, it was fun. You know, that's when Dexter spoke for the first time. So there's some memories, and yes, it, like I said, it brought a little heart, like it made me emotional. Let's just be real. And I'm still thinking about it, and I'm getting kind of choked up just thinking about it. But Indy, congratulations. Was gonna see what you're gonna do on Raw, but she kissed the championship, and her lipstick imprint was on the title, and I thought that was really fucking cool. A really cool imagery with her putting the title on the mat. And my favorite part was when off camera, you know, Stratton grabs the title, then Cora Jade comes out, then the whole women's locker room comes out, and they all start to fight and brawl, and you end this show on that note. I gotta say, since I've started this NXT journey, this was the best fucking show so far. And I give this show a solid 5 out of 5, man, because great matches, great storytelling, and such a way to end it with Indy Hartwell. Then, you know, they could have just ended it there and it could have been good, but no, they're like, no, now we're going to show that these women are hungry. They want that championship. So let's do it. So 5 out of 5. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. You know, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Pro Wrestling Tees store is almost finished, but if you want to support, you can go to our Tee Public store and get that New World Podcast logo created by Penta X. Go check out his music. If you want the Sexy Ninja, the True Sexy Ninja mascot created by Katie, go get that as well. And there's so many crazy designs that's on our Tee Public store. Go get them before the store is gone forever, because once Pro Wrestling Tees kicks in, that's where you can get the official merchandise of the New World Podcast. All you have to do is to click that link in our link tree, and it should just say merch. And there's so many great designs and stuff like that over the years, and it's you know, and this, if you are subscribed to this as C Plus Studios, yes, this was C Plus Studios. We're moving on from that. We have a great archive of great stuff, man, of what we've done over the years, 6 years plus of stuff. There's a documentary of me taking a trip to Ohio. There's the Social Event podcast that was me with Big Daddy. There's Big Daddy Forever episodes. There's Pop Flicks episodes. There's so much on this feed. You can go back and listen. The first incarnation of actually doing a wrestling podcast called Wrestling Junkies, and then trying to do You Can't See Me podcast, you know, and before it became the New World Podcast, and where this actually grew and everything, and just it was an evolution, if you will. But there's so much stuff in the archives that you can go check out. Even my music, man, I did music for a very long time, a lot of hip-hop, very influencers, reviews, that Juggalo vlog. There's so much in the back catalog you can go check out. It's not going anywhere because it's going to be archived as it should be. And C Plus Studios is officially laid to rest, and now we're in the new era of the New World Podcast, brought to you by Paper Saber Universe. I thank everybody that's joining us, and we're just going to keep moving forward. And on next to the next show is AEW's Dynamite, which I am very excited about. Big matches there. So tell me what you thought of NXT, May 2nd, 2023. That's it. That's all. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And as always, put up them 2 sweet signs. The New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.